Star Wars. Two words that have defined the fantasies of people across the planet for the better part of 4 decades as perhaps the most iconic pop culture phenomenon the world has ever seen. Over 45 years of storytelling across every imaginable medium, from film to TV to even books and comics. One of the most important forms of this storytelling that Lucasfilm has utilized, especially over the last 20 years, has been video games. For the most part, video games have been used to fill in the gaps of the established storylines from things such as the films or shows. However, the dynamic in this relationship started to change with the introduction of Respawn's Jedi Fallen Order in 2019. Over the past few years, we have seen ideas and elements introduced in Fallen Order make their way into live action and help drive the canon storyline forward. Now that the next iteration of Respawn's Jedi series, Jedi Survivor, has been officially revealed for a 2023 release, we are left wondering, is Star Wars Jedi Survivor the most important Star Wars game ever made? In this video, we are going to analyze and hopefully answer this question, but first, if you enjoy our discussion, we would love to have you join the Lunar Squadron. The way to do that is just go down below this video, hit that little subscribe button and the bell notification right on next to it. It will notify you every single time Andreas and I upload. Now, of course, we will be discussing important plot elements from the Disney Plus Star Wars show, including Kenobi, so spoiler warning, and let's get into the video. Alright, so Andreas, we are making a very bold claim here when we say that Jedi Survivor, and honestly the entire Jedi series, Jedi Fallen Order and Survivor, are the most important Star Wars games ever made. Now, I know a lot of you are going to be like, Nick, Andreas, about a year ago you made a video claiming that LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga was the most important Star Wars game. And that is true from a certain point of view.
So what I told you was true, from a certain point of view.
A certain point of view?
We mean two completely different things here. So, in regards to LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, what we meant was that game was the most important Star Wars game in terms of the video game format, because it was the first time we were ever able to explore the entirety of the Skywalker Saga, visit all of the planets, go across the galaxy, use all the characters in a video game. This time around, what we mean by this is it is the most important game ever made in terms of Star Wars, because this series, Andreas, is impacting Star Wars, honestly, at an unprecedented level. We've never seen this out of a Star Wars game. So, essentially, what I'm saying is, this series is coming up with ideas, and it is driving storylines that Lucasfilm is then adapting into their live-action series and shows on Disney+. So, like I said in the intro, spoiler warning, we will be talking about the Obi-Wan Kenobi series and the Book of Boba Fett. So if you haven't seen either of those up to this point, fair warning, we're just going to be talking about it. So last week, or this previous episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi, episode 4, we are on Fortress Inquisitorious. We are at the stronghold of the Inquisitors for the Empire. And while this is first briefly mentioned in a comic book, Andreas, the first time this fortress ever appears is from Jedi Fallen Order. So Respawn pretty much got to design Fortress Inquisitorious. And it doesn't just stop there. We also see Purge troopers for the first time in live action. And then if you take a look at Book of Boba Fett, we get a BD droid. So you're seeing all of these ideas and all of these elements bleed into live action from this video game series. Now, traditionally, these video games and these films and these shows, they've had a direct relationship. They've impacted each other. However, what usually happens is the film or the show or the live action canon storyline would impact the direction of the game. The game would basically fill in gaps from these live action stories. But this time around, what we are starting to see are these games impacting the shows, impacting the films. They are driving the stories or helping to drive the narrative, helping to come up with ideas for these series. So this Fallen Order game and Survivor, it's kind of quickly going from, hey, this is a really cool game, this is really fun, it's a great Star Wars game, to this is an incredibly important game to play to understand what is going on within the galaxy, within that Star Wars canon storyline. And what's funny about this, Andreas, is when we sat down and we're talking about this video idea, this was earlier in the week. This was multiple days ago. We were kind of like starting to realize this. This is a theory we've been sitting with for a very long time. Well, turns out we're not the only ones who have kind of realized this, because Empire sat down on the 6th, or actually on the 9th of June, so just the other day, and actually talked to Kathleen Kennedy. And Kennedy herself said that Star Wars storytelling is now directly influenced by video games. And they call out Jedi Fallen Order for its impact on the Book of Boba Fett and Obi-Wan Kenobi. So exactly what we just talked about. So we're just starting to see this relationship with this Fallen Order series, with Jedi Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor. It's very hard to call it Jedi Survivor, but we see a relationship that just hasn't really ever existed in Star Wars video games up to this point. So for those reasons, Andreas, at least to me, I don't know how you feel about this, this Jedi Survivor is incredibly important because it's going to tell us a lot about where the galaxy is headed within the canon storyline.
Yeah, just for the record, guys, this argument stemmed from Nick himself, and this is, Nick's hot take here, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of buying what he's selling, because this claim that Jedi Survivor is the most important Star Wars game, when you really do look at it from that lens of this is the most important Star Wars game for Star Wars' sake, I really do think that this argument holds a lot of water, because just like Nick said, when you think of tangible physical things that we've seen in Star Wars live action over the past couple of years, things like BD. This is a droid that, make no mistake, was designed in a Respawn Entertainment studio. This is a thing that derived from the folks over at Respawn for a video game and then made it into live action. Similarly with Nick, just like you were saying, with Lunar and Fortress Inquisitorious, that entire planet, the entire moon, its visual design, its landscape, the Fortress Inquisitorious, all of that comes out of a Respawn Entertainment studio, not out of Lucasfilm. And, I think that actually derives from Lucasfilm's involvement in the creative process for studios like Respawn. I think Lucasfilm, under the guise of Disney, is keeping a close ear to what they are doing over at the video game side of things. And I think we've seen just as much this being pushed by Kathleen Kennedy now. We all saw Ewan McGregor recently. He's aware of this. He was being interviewed at Jimmy Kimmel, and he said, quote, "All of the storylines have to match up. You can't have some fact in a video game that doesn't match up with the movie." So video game continuity, specifically because of Jedi Fallen Order, is making people like Ewan McGregor aware of the video games and the importance of the continuity from video games. It's making people like Deborah Chow, who are in direction of these new live action shows, be abundantly aware of what's going on in Jedi Fallen Order. And when you look at what's going on in Star Wars Obi-Wan, you have to think, Nick, like, the people in charge have to be aware of Jedi Fallen Order, because as you pointed out several times while we were watching this episode together, they almost copy-pasted the design elements of specific rooms from the video game. Like, when have you ever seen that before in Star Wars gaming?
Yeah, you bring up good points, and really just thinking about it, like that whole entire episode, it really just kind of hammers home, at least for me, the point that we're trying to make. Lucasfilm always took video games seriously, under at least George Lucas. It's hard to say that about the Disney era with EA, but, everyone has their own opinions about that. They took video games serious, but I've never, at least I can't remember them taking it this serious, where they're allowing a video game series to drive their live action storytelling to this level. We all know Fortress Inquisitorious because of Respawn's Fallen Order. If you haven't played Fallen Order, you don't know, most likely, you don't know what Fortress Inquisitorious is. You don't know that location. It's an incredibly important location now. Obi-Wan Kenobi, Leia, like, this is very important now within main characters of the Skywalker saga. And if you had no exposure to the Fallen Order series, you would have no idea why this fortress is important, where it's at, what's going on there. Like, you wouldn't know any of this. You only know this if you have been exposed to the story of Fallen Order. And so that's what kind of makes me feel that Jedi Survivor is going to be critically important, because we've already seen it with Fallen Order, and now with Jedi Survivor, takes place 5 years later at the exact same time as the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. Whether that is a coincidence, I'm not sure. What do you think, Andreas? Is this a coincidence? It seems a little too, the stars are aligning a little too much here for this to be coincidental. Are these going to bleed over? Are we going to see Obi-Wan in Jedi Survivor, or is Cal Kestis going to make an appearance in Kenobi in the last 2 episodes of the show? Because I don't know how I feel about it, but it would be pretty damn easy to bring Cal in because, the actor is the character. It's mocapped. It's literally him. It would be pretty damn easy.
I think that now is a time more than ever that we can, and I know we've been kind of saying, a lot of people have been beating this drum for a while that, it's only a matter of time before Cal makes his way to the silver screen and before, more Jedi Fallen Order content does bleed over, and then vice versa. Obi-Wan might, show up in Jedi Survivor here. But I think one thing that we can say for sure is that any worry that you might have had in the past that, Lucas, back in the day, like you were saying, Nick, Lucasfilm took gaming very seriously. It was an in-house entity, LucasArts, which drove forward gaming. And I particularly was a little worried when Disney was starting to outsource gaming to different studios, and I thought maybe the continuity wouldn't be there. But I think all of this evidence that you've kind of stitched together here with this video, Nick, I think it's apparent to me now more than ever that the continuity between video games and shows is in lockstep to the point where I think we can really expect some more crossover in Jedi Survivor. And I think it's going to come down to this, and this is really what's going to sell your argument here. And that's, you could have gone without playing games like Lego Star Wars. I know Lego Star Wars was important for Star Wars gaming, but you could have gone without playing that, and then you could have gone and watched Kenobi. You could go watch Ahsoka. You could go watch, all these shows that are coming out and not be confused. However, I think we're going to be in a place where if you didn't play Jedi Fallen Order, and if you don't play Jedi Survivor, you're going to be left in the dust not knowing some details about some of the locations, some of the characters, some of the droids like we've seen pop up in these shows. You're going to miss some of these important references. And for that reason, I think this game is really, really going to be important if you want to stay in the loop on all things Star Wars.
Yeah, I completely agree. The last thing I want to say to wrap this all up, kind of put a bow on it, is this game series is reaching a level where it is as important as watching the shows and watching the films to understand the main canon storyline. And I never thought that was going to happen when it comes to video games with Star Wars, because that was just never the point of those video games. You never had to play them to understand the story of Star Wars. That's starting to change with the Jedi series. You have to at least understand the story, watch a walkthrough, play the game. You have to know these games to understand very big ideas and elements within the Skywalker saga now, which is just crazy to me. I didn't think when you and I were at Chicago a few years ago watching this game be officially revealed that we would be at this point. But here we are. Honestly, I love it. I love the importance of these games because I really enjoyed Fallen Order. I know you did too. And we are very much looking forward to Jedi Survivor and continuing to cover it over the next, we'll say 10 months or so is when we expect this to come out. Let us know what you think down below in the comments. Is the Jedi series, is Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor the most important Star Wars games ever made? Do you buy our argument? And if not, let us know down below and let us know why. What do you think is the most important Star Wars game of all time? We would love to know what you guys think. And again, if you're new to the channel, we would love to have you join the Lunar Squadron. The way to do that, just go down below this video, hit that little subscribe button, the bell notification right on next to it. I'll notify you every single time that Andres and I upload. And finally, if you have not yet joined our Discord server, you should join our Discord server. It is a fun time. Really great way for you guys to get to know us better, for us to get to know you better. We're always active in there, so the link to join that will be down below in the description. Love to see you there. Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for us for this one. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, we will see you all next time.